So this is Calicat the Calicatster, and it's been since Transformers Earthspark, yeah. They've released the rest of the series, and I didn't review the second half, so I'm gonna review the second half. I just binged watched over the past 12 hours. Most of it, and I haven't been going to do the others, but I want to cover the other ones first. The last review, back in 2022, the last review, 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, if you count how, 2020. The last review was something to the effect of, we're going to do, we're going to do up to the end of the two-part finale of that. And episodes 9 and 10, it says episodes 9, but in the review it's 9 and 10. They were together. We meet the new robots. By the time I saw that, though, the controversy was already there. The silly controversy was already there. So they were already showing the other episodes somewhere else, but I did not have access to them. And they were on about the controversy, which makes the review kind of not make sense, because it hadn't happened yet. As far as I was concerned, those that had seen it on Nickelodeon had already seen it, the second half. But the second half wasn't released until March 2023 when it really took off, and then everybody got like March and then August of 2023. So actually, August was actually much later. So it aired somewhere else before it was on Prime, which is why I didn't see it at that point. Now that it has aired, and now that the other ones have aired, I can go in and see them. So they were aired somewhere else, and that's how the right-winger Fox people complained about a show they probably weren't watching at all. Probably didn't actually see. They just, oh my gosh, they got triggered. So, as they often do, they're the biggest snowflakes in the universe. But yes, and it looks like in my last review I was just complaining about those people that over there, the right wing, than it was about reviewing the show. So yeah. To reiterate, it's a kids show, and that universe in the show, Transformers Earthspark, Transformers Earthspark is clearly for the demographic. Almost seems younger than G1 in some ways, but then maybe early teenager in other ways. They'll do an episode that's like practically Rescue Bots, and then they'll turn around and do an episode that's like almost Transformers Prime hardcore stuff, and the next one, throwing everyone off. If there was any complaint for the remaining episodes in the timeline, it would be, it's kind of all over the place as a series, and that would be valid to say that. But yeah, there have been other reviews of the show. I have seen other people's reviews, and probably slightly tainted by those. But let's look back, because I'm a Transformers fan, big stuff. I've been doing Transformers fan films for 10 years. 10 years, I've been going up online, but technically online. But I've been doing them for 40 years, since the dawn of the show, the Transformers. And the YouTube one's online, 10 years. But like this other show, I've been doing them for years. Anyway, so yeah, onto the Earthspark. I'm not really like into the preschool age of Transformers version, obviously. But this version is we have more with this second half of what they call the first season. You have, or the middle part, the episodes 11 through 19 is more about the Malto family and what they're doing and encounters with them. Optimus Prime is barely in it in those episodes, except in some flashbacks at the space bridge to the episode parodying this universe's version of the Transport to Oblivion. Apparently in this universe, Transport to Oblivion, the one with Bumblebee and the space bridge and hiding the thing and going through the warp, that actually happened. They had the Allspark in that version, even though there was no Allspark in G1. So this is clearly in another semi-verse of the other thing. It's clearly more Transformers animated than it is Transformers Prime. It's clearly not those two universes. It's another. And I consider them all a multiverse. Each show is a multiverse. Even Beast Wars was part of a multiverse, and all of that. And so you have because they kind of are. They almost have to be. They're not canon with each other. This is not canon with Transformers. This is its own thing. This is not even canon with the previous Nickelodeon Netflix series. With the Earthrise, the Earthrise trilogy. It's not even canon with that. Kingdom and Earthrise and all that. Siege, Earthrise, and Kingdom. Yeah. It's not even canon with that. It's its own thing. And because it is its own thing, because Transformers are what they are, things have entered the lexicon over the years. So you got their lexicon over the years. The Allspark and stuff like that comes from really the Unicron trilogy in 2002 to 2005. It was hinted at in the Michael Bay movie. They show the Allspark. It's a cube in the Michael Bay stuff. The Allspark was originally not a cube. It was the Allspark. It was related to Vector Sigma. I am Vector Sigma before Cybertron was I was. Yeah, that kind of thing. This story has several of our fan film characters doing the voices in cameo. Yes. Even Cowpoke is playing Buzzsaw at one point. But yes, not really. I'm kidding. But it did really sound like it. But Tarantulas, of course, Morton Roadkill. Yeah, so stuff like that. But no, it wasn't him. But it sure sounded like him. But yeah, they don't get Peter Cullen and Frank Welker. They got somebody else doing Prime and Megatron. And it's the Osprey Megatron from Transformers Animated, but it's not. It is, but it isn't. So let's get on with the story, the reviews, catching them all up as quickly as possible. Okay. The first episode of technically season 2. So we had the last few segments of last season airing in 2023. So it was 2023 when some of those others aired here on this channel, but it was earlier when we had access to the other. Yeah. So in June 2023, they began to air new episodes here on this website. So we have an episode called episode 11, hashtag Oops. This is the one where we get an alt mode for hashtag. Happens to be a Ghost van. Ghost. Instead of Nest, they call it Ghost in this version. That's what Michael Bay side of that universe. It isn't really, though, because they do show the Space Bridge War and they do show the other stuff. Clearly, the events that led up to that were different in this timeline. Like apparently the Maltos, instead of the Witwickies, were involved in the Transformer stuff. The Maltos, not the Witwickies. And the Cunninghams. Instead of the Witwickies. And they live in Witwiki in this version. So the different events changed. The Autobots and Decepticons had to make peace because they were trapped on Earth once Shockwave's space bridge blew up. And they kind of hinted at that he was trapped somewhere on the space bridge, which comes up later when they find him in another episode. But Oops hashtag introduces us to new villains and kind of has dropped Mandroid, who is basically Strawberg from Transformers Robotech. He's Strawberg. Let's not mince words. He's the character that we thought of in the 2014 videos, but actually that as aired in the 2014 videos, Transformers meets Robotech, Strabo gives a metal shot, played gloriously by Marx Cards himself. He was actually to destroy the robots for the damage done to his wife in the war in Los Angeles. And of course the war in Oakland that's mentioned in the Bay Area War. They bring up that's there too. So they are aware of our stuff. they took notes from their universe, the Battle of the Bay Area, the Battle of Oakland. As shown in Transtech, Battle of Oakland, the Battle of Simultech Industries. Ghost of Simultech Industries, basically. That's basically. And the evil sister is clearly like, yeah, the TMS lady, yeah, Erica. It's clearly Miss Summer. It's clearly who that's supposed to be. It's Talisman. The Mandroid is, or she could be. She's not Allison though, because that's the sister. She'd be somebody else. She'd be one of the other bad guys that was in there. No G.I. Joe in this universe. It's just this ghost group. But yeah, with all that backstory, what is #Oops about? What's about Ghost? She assumes the identity of a ghost vehicle and is accidentally driven off by ghost people and this sort of Miss Talisman, Alicom bad guy lady, Alicom archetype, go to the ghost headquarters and they got to go rescue her. The robots, the Terran robots go to rescue her. Yeah, it's basically that episode. So yeah, a lot of goofy behavior, a lot of treacly cloying moments, which are reminiscent of a very young child's story. Like it's trying to be rescue bots. And see, the importance of family, oddly enough, the right-wingers didn't complain about that treacly part coming out, where they were like, it's about family. It's Fast and the Furious with robots, the family, that kind of thing. Or it's maybe it's the family, maybe it's the Italian guy. So they say that a lot. They rescue her. That's the end of episode 11. That's all I got. Yeah, that's all you got with that one. Not a terribly important plot. They just do that. I find that in my fan films and the later ones from 2020 on, I tended to narrow the focus to be like, okay, we're going to do an epic story this season, and we're going to do this or that, and we don't have a lot of the exposition about the different families of robots. We don't really do that. We just have them go out and do interesting things and be Cybertronians. You know, not so much about the humans, but the Cybertronians. And then there was, our recent Robotech meets Transformers, where we did the humans again. So here we have the next one is episode 12. And I'm not saying it's connected to Robotech meets Transformers or Transtech. It's just that they're aware of our stuff. And other stuff like it, obviously. A lot of our stuff was taken from the old Transformers Russian lexicons. So, yeah, the fan film archives. They're aware of the fan film archives, and that's very cool that they are. We have Outtakes is the next one, episode 12. And in that one, we have they found a video camera, and they're literally doing a Transformer movie within the show within a show, play within a play thing. The young bots characters. The joke is, I guess, that the joke is, okay, the bots are going to mess with the camera and mess with it. And bad guys are going to get a hold of technology vicariously through it, figure out how the spark works and the Allspark. That was kind of neat. The transformation cog is mentioned. Some G1 flashback telling you that it indeed is a multiverse. And this is not G1. This is not Prime or animated. This is its own thing where it diverged as of Transport to Oblivion and some of those other early episodes. In this universe, it went the other way, and instead of you could almost say that Fire in the Sky is where it diverged, and instead of Spike hanging out with them, the Guatemalan Peruvian girl becomes this lady in the story. You could almost say that. You say the Peruvian girl, she becomes Mrs. Malto. And later on, like, instead of the Witwiggies hanging out with the Autobots, the girl hangs out with the Autobots instead. Yeah. You could fit it into G1 if you really wanted to, like, do a fanfic, like, slash story. Fit it in. Yeah. So she's the girl from before. But it is 40 years ago, and if she's 40 now, it would be her child from her and Bumblebee Spike shacking up. It would be her child. She'd be the 40-year-old mother story. She'd be the mother. She'd be the girl. But Spike did not have her in any relation, but if he did, she would be Mrs. Malto. That's where the timeline diverged. She wouldn't have been there for the Space Bridge battle, though. She wouldn't have. Not unless we're dealing with a sort of an Armada timeline, where it's 30 years ago, 20 years ago. And you have, maybe it's that. Maybe it's... So it is slightly different. It's moved out into the different thing. It could even be the whole thing is a dream. No, I hope it's not a dream. Not there yet. Outtakes is about this video, of the video of the video of the thing, which is yeah, kind of fun. Next we come to yeah, I just said it. I just made it way more interesting than it actually was, with the Bumblebee and the Peruvian girl and all that. That's not in there. That was just the Transformer bots, the Terran bots. They try to make a movie, and the bad guys get a hold of the information, and they got to destroy it before the bad guys get to it. Yeah, that's basically what happened. Okay, yeah. Okay, the next one is Missed Communications. Next episode 13. This is the one with we've got sort of a Cal-Cat character like playing Tarantulas in that one. Down in the author's crypt. He's down in the author's crypt. There's a book author, the Nightshade, who hasn't found her protoform yet, has gone to the crypt and finds Tarantulas there, who tries to trick her into joining his cause as a Predacon. It's interesting that at no point does he call himself a Predacon. He's a Decepticon. He's a Decepticon symbol, which is interesting. He's like a pseudo Tarantulas, and he sounds more like Martin Roadkill than he does Tarantulas. Because Tarantulas would sound like this. Tarantulas terrorize. But he sounds more like Tarantulas terrorize. I'm like, that's a little different. That's more like Picard almost. But yeah, fine. Good. Right, nice. Naturally he turns on them, and then they let him go at the end. So yeah, you have a fairly simple plot there. There's nothing deep in those two episodes. The Ghost is being evil again, and it's like, it does beg the question, why does Malta want to work for them if they're evil? But yeah, so the next episode, when they set up the whole episodes from so that Bumblebee is training them, and in the next episode, Bumblebee completely blows his cover by being a race bandit during racing in security protocols. And he breaks his cover, and he wants to hang out with his brother, the Stunticon Breakdown, who is also one of the cowboy characters. He's me. No, he wasn't. But he did sound like Cal-Cat. I like being a Stunticon. But yes, no, that wasn't me. But yeah, he breaks his cover. They got to rescue him. There's like a race. They do a bait and switch, and they pretend like it's Mrs. Malto's car. So, even though it was clearly Bumblebee, and he gets away at the end. And it's not too deep. I know the right-wingers were not watching any of this. They were just, if the episodes weren't even released yet when they claimed they saw them and saw the character from episode 9 on, I'm sure they didn't. They just freaked out. They freaked out even before March 2023. They freaked out earlier with the 9th episode, which would have been Age of Evolution 1 and 2. Yeah, March. Okay, sure. But yeah, they weren't freaked out about it's wrong on the IMDb, on the Wikipedia page. On the Wikipedia page, it says that they were upset about the Transformer meeting the girl in Philadelphia. That episode actually happened quite a bit later than they could have actually reported it. That episode is Home Parts 1 and 2. Home Parts 1 and 2 airs in October of 2020, August of 2023, just last year, near the end of our Trans Tech run. We had to do ours between theirs so that it didn't confuse anybody. So ours was in between there. We were doing the Robotech thing, I think. Yeah, so we weren't conflicting and when they were doing their Nick stuff over there. We were doing ours over here. So it was fine. It wasn't. They were so different that it was absolutely fine. So we were good. But yeah, they were complaining about an episode that hadn't aired yet. Basically, Fox News and Ingraham and those others were complaining about an episode that hadn't aired, about a character talking to a trans character. That would have been in August 2023, unless this aired somewhere else earlier, back in March. And it might have aired on Nickelodeon somewhere else before, and that's what they're referring to. But I doubt they did the research. They probably just thought, oh my gosh, there's a trans robot from episode 9. Not from episode 18, episode 9, and that's what freaked them out. So it should say August 2023 in the wiki page, or it should say March 2023, but then they panicked. Then later on they doubled down in August and said it again. Of course that's kind of, yeah, just say August 2023. So whoever doing the wiki page, you'll fix that, so it says August. But they were complaining about it back in March when it was just, oh, she happens to be non-binary. Well, I hate to break it to these Transformer critics, but they're all non-binary. The whole entire race of the robots, they're all non-binary. They may have binary like computers in them and stuff that make them male or female, but that's just their programming as robots. So technically all Transformers can be male or female, whatever their protoform wants to be. So yeah, the whole series. So if they were complaining about that, they're idiots. But they are. Anyway, so moving on, we have a character who receives her protoform as this owl creature. It's a toy. The last one that gets is what's that guy's name? It's one of the Jawbreaker. Jawbreaker becomes a little dino guy. Well, his name is Jawbreaker. There's a Dinobot Jawbreaker. Well, the tapes. They make Frenzy a girl in this one. I wonder why they didn't complain about that. Laserbeak. Yep. Laserbeak and Frenzy. But yeah, that was in the 2018 one. So then we come to Home 1 and 2. But no, we're not going to come to that yet. We're going to do two other things first. They rip off a song from Disney, Bare Necessities, so they can have a joke. And in this episode, we have a Cthulhu bear, which has been possessed by toxic weirdo stuff. Toxic worms that contaminated by ghost. And we have a bear cub, and they try to do Mother's Day, and they misconstrue that to grab a bear cub and give it to the mother would be a good idea. And it's like, no, I got to go with bear cub and get it back. So there's a give the animal back thing. Except there's a Cthulhu bear. The mother bear's been contaminated by the toxin. It is half Cybertronian now, and it's like running around going, and they gotta stop the Cthulhu bear and catch the kid before he falls in the water in the rapids, and catch the bear and bring everybody back together. Less a Transformers episode and more sort of a old Lassie episode or something. It's more like that. More old Grizzly Adams story or something. Or Swiss Family Robinson story or something like that. That's kind of what they're going for, more so than they're going for, ooh, woke and nerd. They're going for Swiss Family Robinson, but with robots. That's what it is. That's fine. It's different. I like that it's different. It's not really for me. It's for the next generation. It's for, I had kids, they'd be watching it. I'd watch it, sure, why not? But yeah, it's not bad. Well, I have cats, I have furry kids. The cats are watching it, but yeah, one cat is almost 10, and the other two are 16. So I guess the girl cats are not interested. Houdini, the cat he likes. So I guess it's for 10-year-old cats. So next week, the bear, the Cthulhu bear. For some reason, it made him hungry. Anyway, and the next episode is episode 16, Warzone. And in that one, we have kind of a deep episode of Transformers Prime lore episode, the Space Bridge story that connects that, mixed in with Fire in the Sky a little bit, mixed in with some of the other ones. It's not directly Transformers Prime, but it's on that level. It tries to be more adult and have them discover the memorial of the Space Bridge apparently the only space bridge they ever built, which is weird that they'd only built one. But the Autobots and Decepticons destroyed it, made peace, and then trapped Shockwave under the base. And his cryo freezer breaks in the current time period 40 years later, and he gets out. Basically, has to fight Megatron, who is now switched sides. He's a traitor to the Decepticons. The Decepticon purists, I'm sure there's Decepticon purists, but it's mostly Autobot, I would say no. But they would say like, well, the choice that he becomes good or evil is kind of silly, and it is. It's like, no, whatever his programming was, because they're robots, they're programmed to do this or that. Although it does follow the Asimov's rules of robotics, if you think about it. Yeah, the 3 laws of robotics. Thou shalt serve humans. Thou shalt help the humankind involved, and thou shalt not hurt humans. So, which in Wayland Yutani got wrong with their David androids and later ones Bishop androids and stuff. The Walter android. But yes, in Aliens. But that's another thing. Yeah. Warzone is the name of that episode, and it was episode 16. Then we come to episodes 17 and 18, Home, in which they go to Philly. They go to Philadelphia, Bill Cosby's hometown. And that's not good. And, Transformers Go Home is then changed later on to Transformers. This is the one that ticked off the right-wingers because there was a scene in it where Nightshade rescues a girl from a mugger. Turns out she's non-binary. And Nightshade learns what non-binary means. And then it's a very poignant, sweet little scene. It's cute. There's nothing wrong with that scene. It's perfectly legit. It was cute. Brings a tear to me eye, it does. Oi. It was cute. That was a cute scene in there. And then they have robot wrestling, harkening back to the gladiatorial thing, and Rock'em Sock'em robots. And they have Grimlock being under mind control. How could you not like that episode? That two-part is excellent. Excellent episode. Well done. Very reminiscent of the Trans Tech Grimlock wants to turn on them episodes from the Mush from our latest Lexicon series when he wanted to do that. And the other time. So he tried to do that there too. Wanted to be the leader a couple of times. In fact, the Beast Mix stories from earlier on were actually supposed to be Grimlock, but we made it Beast Mix instead because we're really confused things. So we made it the tank gore guy from instead, the tank guy from Michael Bay. It's just because it made more sense that it's a giant tank than a Dinobot. But in this one, it's a Dinobot, and in the later ones, it's Grimlock. And of course, it would be Grimlock. It would have to be Grimlock. Who else would be like the giant super wrestler guy? It'd be Grimlock. And using Metallico. There you go. So, now they were all using Metallico. Fighting with Metallico. I think that was, Yeah, they're following some of the threads, because ours aired at the same time as about half this series. Yeah, and they were like, okay, there's notes. Okay, what's he gonna do next? Okay, he's not gonna do that. Let's do something else. And so I did do a Grimlock one. You guys did kind of similar, They kind of a similar result, but that's perfectly legit. So it's fine. And yes, the translated scene was cute. Strangely enough, the commentary from May of 2023 was that they were already ticked off that the robot was non-binary, and it wasn't they met the girl. They hadn't met the girl yet. So, but yeah, then later on they meet the girl. She's not a main character, I don't think. I don't think they introduced her to have her do anything else other than show up. But Nightshade is the girl. Did they not like that she's called Nightshade, which implies Nightshade, the poison? She's basically a Maximal anyways. She's a Maximal owl, basically. She's a Maximal. Yeah, maybe the Terrans are the beginning of the Maximals and the Predacons. Maybe it's like proto-tarantulas. The Maximals and Predacons. That actually would make sense. So it actually ties into Beast Wars. And she's like a proto-form, and she's like, yeah, ties into Beast Wars. I like those little nods in there. That's cool. So if they are the beginning of the Maximals and the Predacons, then sure. That totally makes sense. It's a little early. It's centuries too soon, but that's fine. Because I think that this series takes place in our current time period. It takes place in the. It's not in the 23rd century like Transformers Animated was. It's the 21st. I think it was the 22nd in Transformers Animated. It's 21st century. This one. Transformers Animated was a little later than Prime, even though Prime came later. They kept moving the dates around and stuff. Somebody out there, probably on Cybertron.com or TF Nation or something at T-Formers, has probably done a timeline for all of this. They're all excellent. They're done by the people that did the mush. They're very cool. Not me. I wasn't involved in the timeline, but I've been quoted on occasion. But yes, yeah, the guru of Transformers. There was another quote that the grandfather of Transformers fan films. I like that one. Not that old, but I like that one. He's literally doing them when when the show was on the air. Dang. Like, with a clunky video camera. It's like, true, I have footage. I have footage to prove it. It was there way before 2014. You just didn't see it on YouTube until 2020 or so. So, yeah, that is the end of episode 18, and I rambled about my own stuff, but I did that on the other one, too. But, yeah, overall, so far, I'm going to go on and watch the remaining episodes of the series, and then see from there what's up, because they had to do about 24, 25 episodes to cover the Transtech saga in this story. And there's about 25 episodes, or 3 3-hour periods. So, go on, watch the rest.